Today I'm going to show you how to make a really efficient but simple sprinkler system for your lawn or your garden. Now that summer's here, we're thinking about watering the lawn or we're thinking about putting in a garden, and it's really important to get enough water on it. You can buy a commercial sprinkler, but some of the ones that you can get are pretty expensive and they really don't put the water out where you want it or in the quantity you want it. The fan type sprinklers work, but they don't put out a lot of water and they put it out in places you don't want. Even worse are the central point sprinklers that pivot and throw water in a circle. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't lay my garden out in a circle. Those usually end up with a puddle of water underneath them. They'll miss the next area, they'll throw water into the next area, and then they'll water a lot of area that you don't even want watered. Using this, very simple materials, very inexpensive and very quick to make, you can put these on the perimeter of your garden or your lawn and put a lot of water into the area where you want it to be very quickly. It'll be simple, it'll be less expensive than what you can buy, and I think you'll enjoy it. There'll be a materials list at the end of this video that will tell you all the materials you'll need, but you can see they're really very simple, not many, and they're all inexpensive. You'll need a PVC glue, which is a purple primer, and then the glue that actually makes all the welds that hold the thing together. I'm going to be using this in sequence, so I'm going to use a 3/4 inch T-connection fitting for the main one, but I'm going to show you some variations also of other ways that you can use that might even be simpler for you. One of which is using a 3/4 inch slip garden hose connector that'll make a garden hose connection very easy. Then there'll be a 3/4 inch threaded adapter that will have some Teflon tape on it, all to connect the sprinkler head, which is a 42 SA Rainbird professional grade rotor sprinkler, to this. This is normally used in an in-ground installation, but it delivers a lot of water in a very wide arc, so we're going to be using it in an above-ground installation. Also very inexpensive, but very effective. You'll need a PVC cutter. You can use this, which is a ratcheting cutter. You could also use a saw or a box cutter. And then the backbone of the whole thing is a 3/4 inch PVC pipe. This comes in a 10-foot section. I've cut this to a 2.5-foot section. That way I can make 4 of these from one section of pipe. The length of the pipe really doesn't matter. You can make it longer or shorter. The sprinkler head will actually add an additional foot to whatever you use, and the bottom connection will add another inch or so. So for my purposes, 2.5 feet was perfect, but you may want to make one 5 feet or make it 1 foot, just depending on what you're trying to get and how much water. But again, this sprinkler head is the active part, very easy to adjust. But all these materials will be listed at the end of the video, and you'll see that making one of these will come out to about $15 or less. Cutting PVC to size is really simple. You can use this tool, which is a PVC cutter specially made for it. It's a ratcheting cutter. You could also use a saw or even a box cutter, depending on what you have around the house. PVC is pretty soft and it's pretty simple to cut. So I'll just demonstrate with this. If you can cut paper, you can cut PVC. This I'm using one hand. It's even easier with two. But just a few clicks and you're through. Putting the parts together is about as simple as it gets. We only have a few parts to assemble, and it's easy with the glue and the primer just to connect these. It doesn't take long at all, as you'll see. We'll start with making the bottom T connection here. Just put on a little bit of primer onto the pipe, into the T. Do the same thing with the glue. Then you just want to put this together, give it a 1/4 turn, and hold it till you feel it just firming up a little bit. It should only take a second or two. We'll let that set. Then we're going to take this slip connector that's threaded, and I've already put some Teflon tape on the threads so that we'll have a nice watertight connection. This just screws in by the threads to the sprinkler head, which is very easy. Just want to screw it down and get it a good tight fitting there. Then once again, we'll put our primer into this piece and around the outside of our pipe. And the glue. And then again, just push these pieces together, give it a quarter turn, hold it till it begins to set. And this is done. It's just that simple. And now with this T connection, you can join these with some other pieces of PVC to make a series, or to give another piece that I made a little bit earlier. This one has the connection that just screws onto a regular garden hose. So with this, once this is done, you just attach the garden hose, turn the water on, and it works. If you don't want to use PVC, but you want to make more than one attachment, you can just use the T-fitting and attach a garden hose connection to each end. Then you can connect a series using garden hoses. Very simple. Finally, to mount it, you can just use some of these little plastic clamps that are made for this. They'll just clamp on. And then they're pre-drilled for 2 screws, and you can mount this to a tree or post or whatever you have. This will deliver a lot of water right where you need it, very efficiently and very inexpensively. So I hope this has been a great demonstration for you, showing you how to irrigate your gardens or your lawns, saving money, saving water, and making you happier. So I'm just making my final attachment of the sprinkler to the post here. Just using a plastic clamp and a couple of screws. And now I've got the water hose attached at the bottom. I'm going to turn the water on and see what happens. And as you can see, once it gets fired up, it is making a pretty large rotation. Of course, right now it's aimed in the wrong direction, but it'll be coming around this way very soon. And you can make adjustments in this by adjusting the lower portion to find your edges. So that's not a problem with making adjustments as you go. And as you can see, it's a very large arc and a large amount of water.